G'day. This is a spring equinox update. It's been 3 months since I did a last update, so here we go. The main project we've been working on is a new food forest, this whole big area here. So we had to fell quite a lot of trees, unfortunately. We don't like to do that, but we've made the best use that we can out of them. Loads and loads of firewood that you can see stacked up around the place. Plus we got about 6 of our friends to come and help and take away some of the wood as well. We've used a lot of the trunks. When it's not good firewood, we've used the trunks and we've laid those on contour. And our plan is to put paper under and make a bed along where we've planted the fruit and nut trees. We've already forked 3 of them, so we put a fork in and try and lift it up to let more air and more water go in. We're adding manures and some compost, and then it will be papered from there across to about here, and then on top of the paper we will put the mulch. So all the branches from the trees that we've cut, we've got a mulcher and we've turned it all into mulch. So basically the forest that was here has mostly stayed here, and the new trees, the new food forest, will grow upon the old fallen forest, as it were. And we've done the NAP strategy based on the permaculture orchard guy that's in Canada, which N is nitrogen fixer, A is an apple, and P is peach, plum, plum-cot, pecan, or, any other kind of stone fruit or fruit and nut tree. So what that does is that gives you a fertilizing agent in the form of the nitrogen fixing tree, mostly Tagesasti for us. But if you have a Tagesasti, then you have an apple, and then you have, say, a peach, and then in the row next to that, in line with that peach, is another Tagesasti. Coming back this way, you've got another stone fruit, and then here maybe an apple. So you can just keep mixing them up. And what you do is you offset the rows so that this Tagesasti here is close to stone fruit, stone fruit, stone fruit, stone fruit, and also next to another Tagesasti. And it kind of goes like that so that each tree is getting multiple nitrogen fixers feeding to it. Eventually their roots will touch each other, and then hopefully they get a sharing happening of the nitrogen. And in some places between stumps we've put wires up so that we can put things like berries. Those are raspberries that we've transplanted from our other food forest where we had them sort of going into a clump. We dug that up and divided them out. And in some places we have grapevines. We also have this dragon fruit here that got a little bit frosted after we cut the tree down. But we've got 3 different varieties of grapes grown locally. So there's a grapevine, and we plan to get some kiwi fruit and kiwi berries and any other kind of vines that we can later. I've left a few of these little spindly trees here, these cypress pines, just to give a little bit of shade in the first year or maybe 2 years, so that this doesn't get completely belted by the hot sun in the middle of summer. You can see we've kind of already have got summer. It's been extremely dry. We haven't had much winter rains at all. Winter is our dry period, but this has been really, really dry. Half of the long-term average, 20 mils, sometimes 6 mils in a month. So the last 3 or 4 months have all been below average. And September, if we don't get rain in the next day or in the next week, there might be some tomorrow, but in the next week, if we don't get any rain, we've had 3 mils in September. So we're kind of in a drought, and that's why we can't cover over anywhere that we've forked and we've planted all these trees. We don't want to cover it over until it gets some rain because it's so dry, and we fear that it'll take a lot of rain before that will eventually get wet again, and that it could be, you know, several months. So we'd rather let it just stay exposed, which we don't like, until it gets a bit of moisture, and then cover it over and try and keep that moisture inside. A lot of the stone fruit that we've done were from our friend Tom, who did another grafting workshop for the permaculture group, and he brought in a lot of rootstocks. I also grow some of the rootstocks, my own peach ones, and then we planted them and grafted them sort of as quick as we can. You can see some are doing pretty well. Because it's dry, you know, some might not make it, but here's one example. For example, here's a plum rootstock grafted with 2 different things on it, and you can see here clearly one is taken really well. It's got some growth on it, and the other one is not looking good, so I think that one's died. But that's fine, because all we'll do now is we'll give it a little bit more of a chance. If it still doesn't want to grow, we'll just prune that off there, and we'll still have this one single tree. Obviously these come off in time. As soon as these get a bit more established, then I'll take these off, because they will take energy away from that. That's the rootstock shooting. They'll come off soon enough. I might add a list to the video of all the different things we've planted here. There's a large variety of stuff. That's what a food forest is about. It's not about having just rows of trees. That's more of an orchard. Food forests are much more mixed, plus the fertility built into it. Obviously we add fertility in the beginning for the first maybe 2 years, 3 years, but the long-term ongoing fertility is from the nitrogen fixes. I mean, we do have some that are originally here anyway, and we've left some of the bushes. These are all acacias here too. So whatever was here and whatever will pop up, because we've disturbed it, anything that pops up we'll leave. And this food forest is kind of joining some of the other trees that we've had planted, so eventually the whole area around our house will become all food forest basically. We want as many trees producing food and useful things as possible, so even along here we've done a new row alongside the row that was already here before it was partially netted. More trees over there, and it keeps going. There's olives there that are years old, so it's all kind of starting to join together. Yeah. Quickly show you what's happening in the greenhouse. This has been growing us greens all through the winter, and starting some seedlings. Still got some cuttings going that are going to go in the food forest once those rows are done. You know, herbs. We want to have lots of herbs growing. We want to have some natives. We'll have some things for flowers. Lavender, for example, I've got potted up. Obviously as much comfrey as possible. And some new things that my friend's been growing. Is a perennial sunflower that I'm interested to see how that grows. I want to show you our new addition on the old hobby hole. Our friend Paddy is a passionate artist, sculptor. So she's created us this little dragon to sit on top and protect the little hobby hole. We spent some time today netting the fruit trees. They've been flowering nicely. The stone fruit have flowered pretty early. The apple here is in flower at the moment. So there's what the fruit fly net looks like. We found this one's not big enough, so we're actually going to get a bigger one for this one. But we're individually netting some of the trees so that we get some stone fruit this year. Last year the fruit fly came and stung and destroyed all the fruit. You can see here these trees that we grafted 2 years ago are setting loads of fruit. So they want to produce us fruit, we just have to now protect them. There's the last one flowering now. So out the back, off the house. Here's one of the fruit trees you can see we netted. Today we're quite excited to add water back to our solar hot water shower, and I think there was enough sun today that it'll have heated it up, so we're going to have an outdoor shower with solar hot water tonight. The only other little project we've been doing, besides lots and lots of little projects, but this is a fair sized project, is that we've fixed up the old chicken house. We took out the old car that was inside there and I dragged that out. You saw that out the front, and I've turned this into a door so we can put our mulch or chipper in there and use it as a storage that will be mostly dry. I'm adding more roofing because it wasn't all roofed, so I'm adding more roofing. I've got a couple more pieces to put on here, and that'll keep most of this inside dry. We're also digging it out just to get a little bit more height, but it'll keep things like bales of hay dry. We might put in a container of sawdust so that we've always got some dry sawdust. And yeah, looking forward to having another place that's dry. The goats are talkative because they're inside their pen today. It's just because it's so dry, there's just not much feed around. So we're trying to put them in here today, maybe for the next week or so, and then just cutting them tree forage, veggies from the garden, and so on. Hey girls, yes. Otherwise they end up just being out on a tether, but there's no weeds or grass to eat anyway, so at least in this way they're not on a chain and they can get a few treats during the day. Hey girls. Yes, you're always hungry, aren't you? There's not really too much else to update you with. I mean, spring's here. A lot of trees are flowering nicely. This is a pear and flower. You can see another stone fruit being netted behind that. The garden looks okay despite the dryness, and we haven't really irrigated much. At the moment we're starting to irrigate just to keep things alive and also to help a few of the fruit trees to set fruit. Because if you don't water them when they're flowering and getting pollinated, then they're not going to set much fruit, or the fruit will start to fall off. So we are watering a little, and we're trying to water the new trees we've planted to keep them going. And yeah, we're hoping desperately for some rain. People are saying that the rain's going to come, so it's just a matter of time, hopefully, and it will come, and then everything will flourish. And we hope that the summer's not too hot. I think that's it, so thank you for watching. Bye.